Now, today, our 4D Trinity live stream, this is our third live stream, and I'm so grateful again, and I bless you, and I bless me and all of this information. So let's go to our first picture. Imagine a matrix of consciousness that has been put into place since the beginning of what we call and consider time. And this matrix of consciousness is that which embodies all of humans' thoughts, words, actions, and deeds through all time and space. Everything that we've ever decided is a thing that we've given a name to, that we've given a definition to, that we've agreed upon, is contained here. Every thought that you've ever had through every lifetime that you've ever lived is contained here. Imagine this is a snapshot of collective consciousness. This is the threads, the energies that move through us, to us, and extend out from us through all time and space. These grid threads, these are your thoughts. These are your actions, words, and deeds. And you can see, if you look above where all the strings and the strata are, there is this blue plane that is very smooth and clear. This is 4D consciousness. This is our entryway, whether you want to call it the next, the 5D, the 6D, but this is it. It's this plane where we move outside of the 3D thinking, and we move into what I like to consider a smoother and less turbulent state of being. As we know, the world gives us all sorts of information, and whether you are a conspiracy theorist or whatever is your jive, there's a consensus that media and social outlets really help to foster a fear-based consciousness. And what we are doing here at 4D Trinity is we are remembering that we are one with the mind of God. We are remembering that we are one with love and with light. And so what we're doing is we're remembering how to embody that and how to bring that back down into our consciousness. Excuse me. As we go to this next slide, what I want you to imagine is you see a face on the left-hand side. And this is my face. I used to have so much fun. This is all my art here. And, I would put my face against the photocopier, which I know is there's like radiation, right? But I would do cool, funky stuff with my art. And so this is a picture that I love because it depicts, so you're seeing my face at a profile, and then you're seeing all these lines of energy extending out and coming in. And so imagine every time you have a thought, every time you have a feeling, every time you speak, you are casting out threads of energy encoded with your thought feelings. And what they do is these threads, these grids of energy that extend from you, we're going to go back, connect you to the greater strata of the matrix, of the grid, of this collective consciousness, this network of collective consciousness. And this is why we get to accept or consider that it is so vital and important why you choose the correct conditions through your thought, action, words, and deeds to bring you into a place of peace, right? So if we consider, and we're going to be getting into some very interesting topics today. I have a lot of offerings from people, and I will keep their names private, but we're going to be exploring some questions that I received this week and how we can move through them, because ultimately what we begin to realize as we understand that we are not victims here in this world. We are not, the world and life is not happening to us, but that we have choice. This piece of art here is called Choices. And the black and white checkerboard represents, our choices in life. We can go for the light or we can go for the dark. And each one takes us on a tapestry, on a ride, on a hey, Will, what's up? On a kaleidoscope ride through this world. And what we begin to understand as we settle into our spiritual practices, our meditations, and all those things that bring us above that turbulence of the collective and into the sweet spot where the information and the light and the love is clear and potent and powerful, is we begin to recognize that as we choose love, repetitively, as we choose forgiveness, as we choose compassion, as we choose all those good values towards ourselves and towards others, is that we begin to create a puzzle pattern that by which illumines us and helps us to further step along our path in great joy, in great health, and in great love, and in great light. And that's where we're going. So last week, if you didn't see last week, you can go back and watch it later, but we were totally breaking down this concept of being a master of your time and space. Now, in the realm that I teach, time is the spoken word that you give rise to in your world. Space is the space that you hold about that word in your mind. So we say things and we think things, and sometimes they are two in one the same, and sometimes they are not. But either way, as we learn to be a master of our time and space, we again come to the realization, and I'll read this quote here: the most important thing to be aware of is your personal contribution to each and every moment of your life experience. So how are you contributing to your life, right? How are you contributing your word, your thoughts, and your deeds, your feelings, your emotions to those aspects in your life? And as we move on, we're just going to review here a little bit of what we did last week. A master of time and space knows they are a co-creator of their life experience. Time and space consciously creates from a field of love. So we're moving outside of being unconscious. We're moving into a place of being and embodying consciousness, right? Where we are no longer, again, at the hand of the world and just a victim. Believe me, I lived as a victim for 40 plus years of my life, and now I am free. And that's why I'm sharing these teachings with you, because if I can do it, you can do it. Okay, so we consciously create from a field of love. We choose love over fear. Masters rarely perform an unconscious act, aware of the alchemical potency their words and actions may have. Remember, every choice that you make is going to lead you further down a certain path. Is it a path of fear, or is it a path of love and light? A master knows their use of words and actions serve to liberate or bind them, and we all have the will to choose. So free will is you have the ability to choose your thoughts, your words. You have the will to choose that for yourself. For most of us, we are running on unconscious, subconscious patterns that are given to us through media, that are given to us through our families, our cultures, our traditions, through religions, to all these kinds of things. And as we begin to find liberation through our spiritual practices, what we do is we begin to realize, like, oh, that's my mom's belief. That's not my belief. That's society's belief. That's not what I want to believe. That doesn't set me free. And we begin to unravel those grids and those things that had one time kept us bound to certain stratas of being. Because remember, belief is that of the world. And where we're going is we are going and we are embodying heaven on earth, which is different from the world. The world uses the two eyes, the perceptual lenses of the physical being, and the earth, we are using the third eye, our light sight, in conjunction with the dual lenses. And what that light sight does is that relinquishes and shuts down and releases us from the duality of the world. So be mindful of those thoughts that you extend out, because what happened is, as you extend, every thought, every word, there's a book I was writing, and I put it on the shelf years ago, but it's called Million Mind Theory. And every thought that you have not only extends from you, but it moves out through that collective consciousness, and it connects with other people who share those same thoughts. Now, whether those thoughts are about being a millionaire, being abundant, being living in hell, being a victim, having no money, having no time, whatever all that stuff is, that's connecting you through this strata of the grid, of the collective consciousness, to the greater grids that hold all that foundational, every thought and every word and every feeling that's ever been emanated through all time and space. It connects you with all those people, all those places, and all those things. So when you think about that, yes, let's be mindful of what we give our time and attention to. Because if I keep plugging into being a victim and being helpless and I can't help myself, then what's going to happen is I'm going to connect my consciousness with everyone else through all time and space, all of history, whatever we call history, herstory, whatever you call it. And what happens is that information, we plug into it, and like a pipeline, it comes back into us, right? What you reap, you sow. Where you put your energy is where you experience your energy being. A master of time and space cultivates an intimate relationship with their higher self. The higher self represents an eager willingness to exemplify love, humility, patience, gratitude, honesty, compassion, kindness, and generosity. It is the part of self that expresses genuine displays of upliftment and positive kindness towards itself and others and all that surrounds. Now, if you want more insight on the higher self, go to my website, subscribe, sign up. It's the first page you get to my website. It's my full name, TuesdayMayThomas.com. And sign up for your free, it's a mini ebook called The Higher Self Blueprint of Mastery. So if this conversation, this information is new to you, or if it's not new to you and you just want some more insight to juice up your awareness, go and get this little book. This will give you some divine alignments in how to navigate and understand that part of yourself. Your higher self is connected to your light body, is connected to those parts of you that live out of the world, that live heaven on earth, that are ready and waiting to help you bridge it here and now, because it's all about collapsing time and being in the present moment. Excuse me. Okay, I'm going to take a little sip of water, and we're going to get into some of these messages. So every week, or really constantly, you know, I have students, I have friends, people that I work with, random people that just write to me through my website and through my YouTube. If you ever have questions, generally in every description box, there is my email, and you can write to me, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. So again, I've scribbled out these names on these messages, and there's a story with this little message here. Recently, I was coming home from Tai Chi practice, and I remember, you know, several years ago, I got into a rear ending, and it threw my back out. For 2 years. I had to do rehab, physical therapy. I had never done chiropractic before, and there I was twice a week getting click-clacked, put back into place, and it was very traumatic and the most pain I'd ever felt in my life. And it's kind of changed my physical dynamics in the world, where I get to be more mindful of how I move in my body. So back in the day, I used to swing legs and arms and do Kung Fu, and now I do Tai Chi. I'm driving back from Tai Chi, and I'm feeling my back is getting a little tweaky, and I'm like, oh man, really? I'm just doing Tai Chi. Like, give me a break. This can't, like, why? You know, we get into all that stuff. So I'm like kind of going like, man, this sucks. You know, I want to jump. I want to fly. I want to do all these things. And here my back and my body saying like, just do Tai Chi. And even sometimes Tai Chi hurts. I'm like, fuck this. Okay. So anyway, I come home, and I get a phone call from a dear beloved family member who starts telling me that she's seen all these doctors, gotten a second opinion, and that her physical is in such a way that the doctors have told her that unless this next round of medicine works on her, she's going to have to get a lumbar puncture. She's going to have to get punctured in her spine, and they're going to have to do all this funky stuff, and she might end up in a wheelchair and all this stuff. She got so emotional. She started bawling. I started bawling, and we were just like, oh my God, what's going on? And then I get off the phone with her, and I come across this email that came from someone I didn't know who just found me on YouTube. Hi, I came across your YouTube videos and was wondering about Reiki. I'm especially interested in its healing qualities. Recently, I broke my neck, and I'm seeking a kind of physical, spiritual, emotional healing, if that makes sense. Where I live, there are no alternative healing practitioners to turn to. That is why I thought I would ask you. Hope to hear back from you. So here we go. I'm complaining because my back is tweaky. I get on the phone with this beloved family member who's like near death, might be, you know, in a wheelchair after this round of medication. And then I read this, and I'm thinking like, holy guacamole, this is such a trip. You know, how we all have no matter what's going on for you, we're all going through something. There's something for all of us that's happening, some healing, some shift in our physical body. Okay, so as bad as I thought I had it, and then I talked to this friend or this family member, and I, wow, am humbled at how she's going through it. And then I read this brother broke his neck. I mean, this is pretty fucking powerful. Excuse my French. But anyway, we're going to move on to the next one. So this is from another person. Hi. This person took their child to urgent care on Sunday. Much financial stress unfolding for me. And now my truck service engine light is on, so I can't smog it for my new tags. But honestly, I feel I'm dealing with stress pretty well considering. So there's a point to where I'm going with reading you these little offerings. This next one. Hi, Tuesday. I hope your book sales are booming and YouTube audience is growing. Thank you for that. I'm also hoping you can help me understand a friend's response to Reiki when I was sharing it with her in a session today. Wherever my hands were placed, she experienced localized tremors. Her muscles jerked and twitched, and she also felt a slight electrical-like shock. She said it wasn't painful, but she felt overheated and exhausted. And at the end of the session, but before she left, she was feeling more relaxed, and I had encouraged her to drink lots of water. Okay, the next one. My dearest, and this is a friend who said, put my name up, put my tags up, I don't care, I'm here, this is my truth. He writes, my dearest, how do I heal? How do I finally understand in my heart and soul that I matter? How do I tell my body I'm sorry for abusing it? Just thought I'd share these questions with you because I'm getting to a point where I think it's enough. Enough of being overweight, enough of giving myself so freely, enough of not loving me the way I know I should. I love you and sorry I just sent you this message, but I saw one of your posts. I thought I could share with you where I am. I love you. That's from Ronnie Eduardo. And then this one that came in last night. Hi, Tuesday. Do you have something, a meditation or mantra or something to help when you feel like there is a hex on you? Blankety blank said she received something from you once that starts with word I am word through my intention, ... thank you, it's for my sister. Okay, so we all have, this is just a few messages that I've received in these, the first one from the chap who broke his neck was from a couple weeks ago, and then these last few are from this past week. So we're all going through stuff here. Now, the question is, how are we dealing with it? Oh, the phone's ringing. The phone is ringing. Oh my goodness, you know what? You know what? It's the God phone. It's the God phone. Okay, you ready? You ready? Hello? Hey God, what's up? Thank you so much. I know, I was nervous again this morning. It's true, I was so nervous again. But I did, I sat in the sunlight and I prayed, called in the solar logos, and all is good. Thank you. Yes, God says hi, everyone. Whoop, 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 word. Okay. Oh, you want me to read something out of A Course in Miracles? Okay. All right. And God is saying, wants me to point out the importance of forgiveness. Okay. Thank you. Blessings. Okay, bye. God always calls. Every show, God's like ringing up that phone. Okay, I love it. So, forgiveness. What happens when we practice forgiveness is we collapse time. So all those people, places, and situations that we hold grudges against, that cause us to withhold our love and our light in the world, are actually marking us and bringing us into a place of the past. When we forgive ourselves and others, we collapse, we release the past. We dismantle it. It becomes dismantled by the law of forgiveness. You are free, the other is free. And just like those grid lines we were looking at in the presentation, all of those things that connected us to those people, places, and things of the past begin to vanish. begin to disappear, and we become free. We allow ourselves to become aligned into the now, so that we are no longer bound by the past. For most of my life, again, I lived as a victim, and my past went with me everywhere I went. Everywhere I went, I took the memories of my youth, all the things that hurt me, that caused me pain, and I continued to revamp and re-energize them by giving them my thoughts, by giving them my power, by giving them my energy, by talking about them and how hurt I was over and over and over again. And I know it's a process, and we're all going through things at our own time and space, and it's all perfect. We cross those bridges of forgiveness and of healing as divinely aligned and in our perfect time and space, what serves you. But remember, the power of forgiveness is that which collapses time and sets you free. Now, I was also guided to read, there is, in the Course in Miracles, there is a list, which is very kind of cool, the meaning of miracles. And every week, it seems that God's going to call, and we're going to talk a little bit about A Course in Miracles. Last night, I was reading through number 37, and it kind of correlates with our forgiveness stuff. A miracle is a correction introduced into false thinking. It acts as a catalyst, breaking up erroneous perception and reorganizing it properly. This places you under the atonement principle, where perception is healed. And remember, perception is that which the duality of the lenses of our physical eyes see. Knowing is light sight. Knowing is when we see with the third eye, and we break through the minutia. We break through the duality of the world, and the world is our past. The past doesn't exist unless you keep it alive. Until this has occurred, knowledge of the divine order is impossible. A miracle is a correction introduced into false thinking. It acts as a catalyst, breaking up erroneous perception and reorganizing it properly. False thinking is giving power to the past. The reorganizing is putting us back in alignment with our power in the now moment. This places you under the atonement principle, right? Atonement is your forgiveness, is your dropping the judgment of yourself, of others, of things, people, places. And once this happens, again, time reorganizes itself to put you in the present moment. Perception is healed. Until this has occurred, knowledge of the divine order is impossible. And what is the divine order? The divine order is you living your truth, is you living sovereign, which is you living free, you ruling your time and space, you understanding that you are a master of your time and space and taking responsibility to align with that which is. So this is going to take us back. I'm going to start to talk now a little bit about the tar body. In my book, The Reiki Apprentice, it's $19.99 paperback and $9.99 Kindle. Please, if you have any affiliation with Reiki at all, if you are divinely guided to understand your own spiritual apprenticeship in this world and your multidimensional being, this book is a treasure trove of divine teachings. And I want to read a little bit about the tar body for you, and then we're going to get back into a few last pictures in our presentation so you can further understand these ideas. Now, my teacher, the Reiki teacher that I apprenticed with was also, and is also, a trance channel healer. So much of this information is channeled in this book. And I'm asking her about the tar body. And she says, we are all susceptible as third dimensional beings or human beings. I was asking, like, what is the tar body and how do we get it? And she says, we are all susceptible as third dimensional beings or human beings to collecting debris inside of our instruments or bodies. This debris accumulates mainly in the crystalline tube first, and as it continues to collect, it spreads into pockets and channels throughout the body. The body becomes congested and one's vital flow of energy slows down. One can become blocked by the amount of tar in their body. And I ask, so where does this tar body debris come from? And she responds, it's in the foods we consume, the items we use in and on our bodies. It's in the medications and recreational drugs we take, the atmosphere and environments we live in. It's in alcohol too. But the primal source of congestion is caused from perceived mental and emotional trauma experienced over one's lifetime. All the stuff you are feeling and crying about is directly related to your tar body. All that pain that you have held onto from your past has collected, and you have been carrying it around with you your whole life. Okay, boom, right? So I'm going to put all this together, and we're going to go back to our presentation, and we are going to talk about these aspects in our presentation. And with regard to those offerings from viewers, from friends that had written in. So here we go. Let's go back over. And we're going to turn this back on. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about this. We are going to remember, this is my little stick figure friend. We are going to remember that every thought, action, word we have, we embody, we share, sends out a grid thread of energy. Hey, 789 is here. Wonderful. Blessings. Thank you all for being here. Queen Ellie Sheba, Will, April, 789. Blessings. I'm so very grateful you're here this morning. And if anyone else is here, you want to give a shout out, please do. We're going to have time at the end of the session for you to do some Q&A. But first, we're going to just review this a little bit more. So remember, as you have a thought, an action, a word, a deed, it connects you. In this little stick figure, it's like these threads, these grids of energy extending out from you. And in this picture, it's coming out from the head, from the thoughts. It's connecting with that greater strata, that grid, right, that we consider is this collective consciousness, right, coming out from you through the choices you make, and it's connecting you. Now, the thing is it connecting you to the light or to the dark? Is it connecting you to love or fear? We can imagine in this picture, right, this is this being. You can see it's female or male, however you perceive this, but let's just say this is a being that is spiritually attuned, that is doing their work. The chakras are lit up, and we see this physical, we can imagine, representation of this being on the left, and this light body version of this individual on the right. And the light body is that part of you that exists in the light, in the presence of love, that chooses love. The more love you choose, the lighter and brighter you become, and you can actually become invisible in this world, but that we'll talk about later. And we can't get distracted by those tricks either. The yogis would say, you know, as you ascend spiritually and you begin to gain, what are they called, siddhis, these really mystical, magical powers, and you begin to have these faculties that are beyond this world, yet the yogi, the true yogi, knows not to be distracted by these things and to simply continue on the path of oneness. Now, what happens is, here we are, we're being cool, we're doing our spiritual stuff, we're in love and we're in light and we're charging up that light body. But what happens is that when we choose out of fear, is that the energy body begins to become darkened. And that tar that I was just talking about, the tar body is given fuel. The tar body is given energy, is given power and domain. So remember, every time you choose out of fear, you are feeding the tar body. I have a saying and a hashtag, feed the light body, starve the tar body, right? And we can see in this picture on the right, this comes to, you know, sometimes we get a little funky, we get a little fuzzy, and then we remember the love, we remember the light, we're like, and we come back and we detox and we refuel and we realign with spirit, and it's like, okay, no, it's all good. I forgot how to see with my light side activated, and now I'm back. But what happens is when we give rise and we give power to all of those darker, fear-based, limiting thoughts, and we give them life through our thoughts, action, words, and deeds, is that we become cloudier and darker and darker. And look at this vision on the right-hand side, where everything is just completely enmeshed in tar, in darkness, and we see these rays extending out from this being. Well, what happens is that this extends now out through this divine strata of the universe through fear. And so it pipelines back into us that which is fear. So that which we put out, we receive back until we remember to refuel, to choose love and light. And then, whoo, we're back to the promised land, people. Okay, cool. Now, this is pretty funny. What I also wanted to show you here is, and we're going to go back to these questions slightly in a moment, but this is so funny. You know, just the other day, this totally cracks me up. I'm going to have to do a little screen share thing here again. So just the other day, I went up, it was Halloween night, and I went up to the mountain, and I love going to the mountain and practicing my staff. And there's a friend on Instagram. If you're not on Instagram, come on Instagram and check it out. So I'm going to stop this here, and then I'm going to share from a different window here. Okay, so this cracks me up because I'm just like so, I'm so like in my Kung Fu mode. If you see the face, it's hilarious. But I want you to watch this. Okay, and I hope that it's the right speed. But you see this. Okay, so this, this is how I'm going to invite you to handle the tar body. So dig deep and find your inner badass, your inner warrior. And remember, we only have to be and embody the warrior while we're dealing with those lower frequencies in the world when they consume us and we give rise to the tar body and we begin to become mesmerized and we think that that's the truth. We forget that that's not the truth, right? So, okay, I'm going to pause this. It just cracks me up. So the thing is, what I want to share with you is that you do not have to live. You do not have to live as a warrior, as a fighter anymore, okay? The truth is that I used to have to battle with my whole life in that way. You know, like just taking that tar body down, man. And sometimes when you go on this path, it's like, and you start to unravel all the fears and all the darkness and all the stuff that's deep down inside, the shadow stuff that's been guiding your path. You realize like, oh, I got to go through the dark night, dark journey of the soul, come out to the other side, through that tunnel to get to the light, because this is a part of your initiation as a spiritual apprenticeship. All these pains and these situations, these experiences from the past, these are your medicine. Turn your pain into power. If I can do it, you can do it. And if any of these tools resonate with you, please put them in your toolbox and use them. Use them, use them. So we're going to go back here briefly for a moment, and we're going to check out. Okay, here we go. So I'm still learning. So many little things. Gives you a flashback. Oh yes, 789. I bet, right? So, okay. So here we go. We're gonna come back to, we're gonna come back to the, to our little, oh, where are we? Hello. Okay. Technical realities here. There's so many screens open. Okay, here we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to think about this tar body. We're going to think about these offerings from these dear beloveds, right? These little email offerings that that we had seen before. So when the tar body, right? When we feed the tar body and we allow the dark forces, the fear-based, the judgments, the all the stuff that holds us back from being free, from being in our true power and authority, our judgments, our unforgivenesses, our pain, right? Edgar Tolle calls it the pain body. Well, I call it the tar body. When we do, we give that the power. But once we realize and we begin to come back into the light, we realize, fuck this, I'm taking my power back, right? And so you learn how to take that shadow down, and only you can do it for yourself. Only you can do it for yourself. So let's go back here. Okay, so this person here is saying, I just broke my neck. I'm looking for Reiki. I need something that's going to help heal me on every level of my being. Well, boom, brother, this is it. This person is choosing the light. This person just had their neck broke. Can you even imagine for 1 second what kind of a reality that is. And now this person can wallow, they can be laying in bed and feeling all sorts of, down on themselves, self-doubt, self-deprecation, all this stuff. But no, this person reaches out, finds me on YouTube and says, hey, I need help. I'm looking for XYZ. Can you help me? And so blessings, brother. He is choosing the love. He is choosing the light, despite whatever, we don't know, whatever's going on in this person's head. And so word, blessings. I see you and I raise you up to the highest love and light. And I've communicated with this person and we're in emails, and I'm helping as best as I can to help this person navigate. Now, here we go. Much financial stress unfolding for me. My truck service engine light is on. I can't get my tags. I took my child to the urgent care. So, we all have all these things going on. Again, being a master of our time and space. So what can we do? What can we do? We can get down, we can get bummed, we can begin to think the world is against us, or we can choose the right kinds of thoughts. And I do have a remedy that I want to share with you. And I don't have it on this presentation, but it is first things first. When you break your neck, when you have financial issues, when your child is in the ER, when whatever's going on, first thing first, you bless the situation. You bless it. You say, I bless this. I bless my body. I bless my child. I bless my car, whatever that issue is. And then you affirm your trust in the process. There is a divine order working. Now, you can believe that or not. Chances are, if you're watching this, you believe it. Yes, Sehi Ki will, indeed. So you believe it, or at least you're considering what that might mean to you. So you bless the person, place, or thing, the situation, and then you say, I trust, no matter what this looks like and what's going on, I trust that there is a higher order. I trust in this process. And then you ask the question. You can make up your own question. Now be careful, be mindful the questions you ask. The ones I love are from Gary Douglas, who is the founder of Access Consciousness. And he offers that when you get into a situation, into a bind, into something that seems third dimensionally just heavy, that gives those gravity of those grids that drags you down, you say, how does it get better than this? You ask the universe, you ask God, you ask that divine source, whatever name you give it, how does it get better than this? And you wait and you let the universe show you how it gets better than this. Another positive question you can say is, what's the best thing that can happen? So our friend with the broken neck, our sister with the child in the urgent care and the tags and the engine is out in the car, how does it get better than this? What is the best thing that can happen? And then the other and the final positive question, there are more, but the other final positive question you can ask in any situation is, how blessed am I? So what we're doing is we're taking the potential negative strata of where the mind can go and connect us to all the other negative stratas through the grid space. And we're saying, I'm choosing, I don't know the answers, but I'm going to bless this. I'm going to affirm my trust in the process. And I'm going to ask, how does it get better than this? What's the best thing that could happen? And how blessed am I? And you put those things out into the universe, and the universe shows you, the universe gives you what you need. Now, this one is interesting. So this is from a student of mine, a level 3 student of mine who's starting to slowly have clients, right? And this is the one where she placed her hands and the client experienced tremors, felt like there was electrical shock, jerking and twitching and everything. And now this student is of high integrity and knows that to use Reiki and only Reiki. So these kinds of experiences, when I responded to her, these kinds of experiences that are almost kind of paranormal with Reiki are very, very rare. For the most part, Reiki is going to be gentle. It's going to just be totally a peaceful situation that is generally gentle. There may be some release of emotions, some insights, and divine opening and unfurling. Yet when this sort of things happens, in my experience, it probably happens 1 in every 500 sessions that you share. In her experience, she's just beginning and she's having this right away. So, because I know that she is of integrity and she was not calling in anything extra to do the work, but only Reiki, And I know she sets up her space with absolute integrity and clarity. So when this sort of thing happens, what we get to do is, number one, trust the process and hold space for our clients. And what I also shared with her that I'll share with you is, and I know she wasn't doing this, but what I've seen on the YouTube, what I've seen on the Instagram with other people that do Reiki, is that they mix Reiki with pranic healing or other types of healing modalities that do laying on of hands. Now, the thing about Reiki is it does not manipulate the individual's energy field. With pranic healing and other things, we're moving the hands, we're waving the hands, we're doing stuff with the chakras, we're moving, we're physically interacting with the aura, right? And what can happen when we do this, when we mix those modalities with Reiki, is that the body can do some wacky things and some crazy stuff, which you can see. And as I said to my client, I said, some people need the show. They need that, the crazy fireworks of a healing or something happening to know that it's working. Yet, that's not Reiki. So, and she understood this. And the bottom line is that she was able to recognize that her path with this person that she shared the Reiki with may have a greater implication. Perhaps they had a past life agreement that was, I'm going to trust you and come into your presence at some point and allow the healing of Reiki to help reorganize my body-mind continuum. And ultimately, this friend that she worked on is totally fine, is totally perfect. This was just what her body needed to do to dematerialize and rematerialize into its highest order. So again, this is very rare, and this generally does not happen when you are practicing Reiki and only Reiki, okay? Our next one, so this is my dear friend, Ronnie. How do I heal? How do I finally understand in my heart and soul that I matter? Honey, you got to do it for yourself. You have to, you know what it is? It's making a choice. Remember this? You choose. You choose. As a master of time and space, the most important thing to be aware of is your personal contribution to each and every moment in your life experience. So especially when we're going through the ringer and our stuff is coming up and our issues and our fears and our vulnerabilities are coming up, this is high tide. This is the time for you to use that inner warrior power to choose love, right? Beyond all the things that want to keep you down, beyond that tar body energy, you get to choose love over and over again. And maybe sometimes you fall down, you scrape your knee, you go back into fear, but you get back up. The moment that you have that inkling that you can, you do it, and you do it repetitively. You choose love. Ronnie, you choose it. You create affirmations. You create new thought patterns for yourself. How do I heal? Instead of saying, well, that's actually a good one. How do I heal? Ask God, ask the universe in your prayers. How do I heal? Ask your higher self before you go into dream time at night, how do I heal? And keep a journal by your bed and see what messages come. How do I finally understand in my heart and soul that I matter? Honey, you tell yourself that you matter. It is only beliefs and unconscious, subconscious patterns and paradigms of your past experience that would have you believe that you are anything but a most divine high light. So you have to tell yourself, and this goes for all of us, right? I matter. How do I tell my body I'm sorry for abusing it? Honey, it's right there in the question. Place your hands over your body and tell it you're sorry and forgive yourself. I'm so sorry for abusing you, my dear body. So whether we're working with, and I don't know exactly what Ronnie's talking about, but whether we're working on, addiction issues, whether we're working on just realizing how negative our self-talk is. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, my body. And then we forgive ourselves. And we forgive over and over and over again. Okay, enough of being overweight, right? So he's ready to be done with it. Enough of giving myself freely enough and of not loving the way I know I should. So again, the answer, the medicine is in your offering, is in your question. I am enough. How do I heal, universe? For I know that I am enough. Universe, how do I finally understand that in my heart and soul I matter? Oh, well, let me use this right now. Let me affirm I matter. I am one with the most high love and light, or whatever your affirmation is. How do I tell my body I'm sorry for abusing it? I'm sorry, body. I forgive you. I forgive myself. I bless you. I bless you. I trust this process. Dear body, how does it get better than this? And what's the best thing that can happen? Dear body, how blessed am I? I trust that I am enough. Right? Enough of being overweight. Well, you know, honey, I dealt with weight issues my entire life up until just a few years ago. And that for me was all connected to past patterns, past experiences, right? I was abused as a child sexually. That shit, that stuff stayed with me. That stuff stayed with me. That stuff stayed with me, and it walked with me everywhere I went. And those shadows, those tars I saw, because that stuff, those pains of the past walked with me everywhere I went. Everyone I saw, it bled itself into every sexual experience, every relationship experience. I blamed my mother. I blamed the person who did it to me. I blamed the bully in school who bullied me. And those characters stayed with me. And I saw them, and I saw my past and everything in my present moment. And so it kept me in the past. It didn't set me free. So again, forgive. Forgive others. Now, there is a powerful tool called the energy letter, and I have it in my YouTube. I have a blog on it, which I will find and I'll put in the description box later. But you get to write your body a letter from your higher self. Ask it questions and tell it things that you need to get out of your system. And enough of giving myself so freely, enough of not loving me the way I know I should. Again, it starts with you using your word, your thought, and your deed in the highest level. So here we go. Start today, Ronnie, right? How can you start to speak love, light, sovereignty, and freedom into your world? How can you start to choose love over fear? Right? And again, when those fear things come up, when you start to beat yourself up, when you start to get into that zone and you start to get all tar body and you start to get all dark and shadowy and that stuff starts to suck you down, find your inner warrior, ha, 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 and face that shadow down. Now, I know for some of us, living in the now, this is what we're going through. This is my mini ebook, and it's free on iBooks and on Amazon. And some of you have already got it. Please leave me a review. I would be so very grateful, especially if you appreciate the information and it's of service. But this book is going to help you understand what you're going through. It is, and again, so, as I said before, in a past thing, I have a friend who decided they were going to go on to a spiritual path and decide, I'm going to heal my life, and thought that it was just going to be la and like running through fields of lavender instantly. Meanwhile, they start to bump into their stuff and they recognize like, oh, I got to work on this. It's, and sometimes it can be this instant thing where you just move out of the dark and into the light. It depends on the karmas. It depends on how much you're ready to release at any given time of any past experience, right? But the thing is that what we want to do is we want to learn how to feed the light body and starve the tar body. And we're going to be going into more of that a little bit later next week. So get the nowosphere. It's going to help you understand the dynamics of traversing through the void, because what happens when you choose love and you choose light and you choose healing is that the tar body doesn't like that. It's had the domain of this environment, of this petri dish of your body for however many years, however old you are, whatever the issue is, for how long you've been festering and giving a home and a space to that. And the moment you start to choose love and light, the tar body's like, ah, and it starts to like hold on and sink itself in deeper. And so it's like, you got to really muster all of your inner strength and all of your courage to face your shadow down. And that's what I'm offering you. But as you do go into that place, it becomes a little wobbly, because you start to realize all the untruths you've been living for so long. And there can be quite an emotional purge on this process. But as you begin to dismantle the old and the pain and the fear, right, you begin to shift, your vibration begins to change, and you start to collapse time and start to exist outside of time in the now, what I call the nowosphere. And it's a different environment. It feels different spatially. It feels different because you're allowing yourself sovereignty. You're allowing yourself freedom and liberation. And sometimes you're like, well, fuck this. It was easier having all those issues and thinking and believing that the world is an unsafe place to be. So I think I'm just going to chill back here and not do the work. And believe me, that happens. It's natural. We do, we do that stuff. But again, come back. The moment you have an inkling of power, the vortex is open to choose love, to choose light. Do it. Thought, action, word, and deed. Start doing it for yourself and for others. The Nowosphere, that book will help you understand the pathway of going through the void of that darkness where you are dismantling and dematerializing those old factors of self while you begin to embody that which has never left you, that which is your truth, what you are always, love and light in your most power. Okay, beauties. So here we go. We're going to end with any questions, any offerings. I see 789 is saying this weekend he had his first Reiki session. Guess who ended up driving me there? Well, I can only guess. And I'm so happy for you. How did it go? What did you feel? Was it good? Again, any last questions, please send them in. This would be a good time for us to have a few Q&As. Otherwise, we will be wrapping up shortly. As always, I am so deeply grateful for you spending this time with me, and I pray that these offerings truly serve your wellness and your sovereignty, your ability to be in your full power and authority, your ability to choose love over fear, and to choose love over and over and over again. Okay, so 789 was saying it was good. Okay, well, wonderful, wonderful. If there's any last words, please, this is a good time to share them now. We'll give it another minute or so. And again, remember, you can check the description box, go to my website. Bravo, woo, thanks, Will. You can go to my website, sign up, get your Higher Self ebook. That way you'll be on my newsletter. I send out 1 or 2 newsletters every month with info on my blogs and just offerings and new books that I'm going to be putting out. I'm so very excited. Plus, you have a new friend now. Okay, awesome. Choku Ray, April. Blessings. I'm so very grateful. I am so very grateful for you being here with me today. Tell your friends, invite your community, your family. If this stuff resonates, I'm so grateful to build this community, and thank you all the new subscribers to this YouTube channel. I am so, I'm thrilled, right? And it allows me to embody and share the truth in my heart. And that's me living heaven on earth. That's us living heaven on earth. You are welcome to do that for yourself. I invite you to be a master of your time and space. Again, if you need to review, watch number 2, last week's live stream. Be a master of your time and space, and your whole world will change. All right. Blessings, everyone. I'm going to take us out with my fancy little new intro outro, which I'm so excited, which I stayed up last night and I did. So I love you and I bless you. And I'm so, so very grateful to have this time with you. Namaste with all my heart.